Hey everybody, Teddy Joe and Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv, and here's your Sunday roundup. There has been a lot going on over the past week, and looking forward, before I do that, I look at what's happened, right? So you have the SEC, and there's news about the SEC that you might not have been paying attention to. You had, and I'm just looking over my notes, you guys know I keep my notes and everything. The SEC has changed or is changing their definition of, dealer. And so with that, it can affect exchanges. It can affect any company, any financial institution dealing in crypto. So that's a big one. Something else that happened, Janet Yellen went in front of Congress and said, hey, we need better regulation, better enforcement. And that put her head to head, toe to toe against the SEC. So you figure there are three entities going on right there, right? Janet Yellen and Gary Gensler and, the SEC, the Treasury, and the CFTC. So when is the U.S. government going to take a step back and have a pragmatic approach to what goes on in the crypto market? Still waiting. Glad I'm not holding my breath. I'll just put that out there. Something else that happened or is happening is you have a lot of crypto lawyers at the SEC considering handing in their resignations. Let that wash over you for a minute. You have a bunch of senior crypto attorneys at the SEC that are contemplating leaving, contemplating their departure. And some of the reasons being cited, of course, point dead at Gary Gensler. And you have to kind of think about that. Something else that happened this week. There's a whole litany. I went through all of my notes for this week. I went through all of the articles that me and the team have written and published. We had 104 articles over the past week covering stocks, cryptos. That's a lot. And I don't talk about all of them, right? So you've got 104 articles just from last week, just from the previous 7 days, that you might not be paying attention to because you're not going to GrowMyBag.tv. Just saying. And I don't cover everything in my Sunday roundup. So just saying, you might want to hit that resource. A lot of the articles are indeed free. Don't even have to be a member. We'd like you to be a member because that helps support the platform. It also helps us to move forward, helps us to actually fight off, different kinds of bots. Just saying. And then you get to have conversations amongst each other and me, of course, and we get to learn together. But anyway, something that hit me that I was paying attention to, because everybody's kind of downplaying, MATIC and Polygon. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, were you paying attention? Polygon is coming out with this technology that will enable any EVM-compatible network to become its own layer 2. That would obviously expand Ethereum, expand that reach, as well as hype the price or up the price of MATIC. As you know, I am a big MATIC fan, and it's for reasons like this. MATIC is making moves to grow the environment, the overall environment that makes them connective tissue. Again, just saying. Just paying attention to these things. Next batter up. Bitcoin mining stocks have been going up. Why? Because they've been selling smartly. Why did they sell? Well, because it's going to become twice as difficult for them to earn Bitcoin. What does that mean? That means that they need equipment. So they sold so they can buy, as well as, maybe take a couple of pennies for profit, right? But it prepares them for what's coming, which is why they've slowed down. It's like, okay, we've got it. We might have enough, which is why their stocks are rising. There are multiple ways to play the investment game. And in our case, if you're interested in crypto, you can invest in crypto directly, or you can invest in crypto indirectly. So mining stocks are a big deal. So if you're looking at CleanSpark, Riot, Marathon, these are ways to get in. You should also be paying attention to Galaxy Digital. And the reason why is because a while ago, I told you about how Mike Novogratz actually went in and purchased a facility. So that's a big deal. And they purchased a facility from a company. I forgot who it was. I'd have to do the research, and there's too much to cover today. But they purchased a facility from a miner that was having issues. So they purchased a facility, and they're helping them pay for, all that stuff. That's a big deal. Again, different ways to get involved in crypto without being directly involved. Another way to do so. Somebody asked me about MicroStrategy and why is MicroStrategy? One person asked me, why is MicroStrategy shooting up 10% and Bitcoin was only up 5%? The next question was, not even a question, just a statement, just MicroStrategy is booming. I want you to pay attention to something. MicroStrategy is looking to become a Bitcoin development company. That's one. Two, they hold a boatload of Bitcoin. That means they are a healthy alternative to all of the Bitcoin spot ETFs. Now you got me, right? Because now you're looking at whatever price MicroStrategy is, it is a percentage of what the cost of Bitcoin actually is. And that's what I'm paying attention to. This is why you see when Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy shoots, because it's cheaper. It's another way in. So I can also purchase the stock more cheaply and more easily than probably getting involved in these ETFs. Just something for you to think about. Now, ARK Invest is also filed for Ethereum spot ETFs, right? They altered their S1 to say, hey, we'd also like to introduce staking for that Ethereum spot ETF. That in itself could be a grand thing. Again, something that's making me look forward. Events that happened in the past that are making me look forward, okay? Then you have a survey that says, the United States and Europe have a more favorable opinion of crypto and are interested. We're talking at a whopping 78%. Just saying. So when I look at everything that's going on, I'm looking at the possibility of more adoption, faster adoption, not just from people, but also from businesses. And what's going to drive that forward? Not just institutional investment, but also we're going to be looking at all of those different things stemming from retail investors like us, as well as business investors. And when I say business, I mean small business. In the United States, it's small businesses that drive the economy. So those are the things that I'm looking at, right? What else is coming up? Just what else has happened that's making people stop and think? Well, TradeStation got hit with a $3 million fine from the SEC. Why? Because they're alleged to have been dealing with an illegal crypto lending product. Security. Why didn't you register it? So the SEC is paying attention to who's doing what, how they're doing it, all that other good stuff. So I'm paying attention, right? Something else that the SEC is involved with, Prometheum. I started talking about Prometheum months ago. This is a company that's involved, basically an exchange that's involved. I think they're an exchange involved in, obviously crypto. And they might be the first exchange the first such company to actually be listed as an official level, I guess, level one, a master company with the, I think it's the Fed. That's huge. That says that they are working in ridiculously closely with the SEC and the government. And I'm asking the same question that I asked before. Why couldn't this happen for all the other exchanges? They didn't go after Prometheum. They went after everybody else. Kraken, Genesis, Coinbase, obviously, Binance. That's still ongoing. That's not a sleeper. That's still ongoing. So a lot of these things are still ongoing, but not Prometheum, which is why I'm paying attention, right? Really paying attention to that. Something else that, that kind of hits close to home for me. I told you that I am involved with the Metaverse Standards Forum. And so Accenture holds this thing called SEG. And this year was the third year that they've done it. And it stands for, Sports, Entertainment, and Gaming, right? So it was their SEG 3 conference. And during that SEG 3 conference, all of the producers there were talking about, hey, and we're talking about companies like Epic Games and all that good stuff. And they're talking about, hey, we need to make sure that we, own our rights with regard to AI. During that time period, Epic also released, a new version of their engine, their gaming engine, Bigger is that Disney got involved with their gaming engine and actually invested a huge sum of money into Epic. And the reason why I bring this up is because it's not just AI that's on everybody's lips, right? It's also the metaverse. The metaverse is an evolving space, not a set in stone space. And this is why we're paying attention. There's also an overlap between AI and the metaverse, what you could possibly do in that space leveraging AI. Hence, this is something that makes me look even further down the road, right? Because I'm interested in, where can I invest my money? How can I invest my money? Why can I invest my money? Now, looking at the piece between Disney and Epic, Disney with all of this, content that could be leveraged for games, I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. And you're asking, what the hell does that have to do with crypto? It's because you have a lot of platforms, a lot of these companies looking at crypto and looking at Web3 as the next step. So again, I pay attention. Back to miners, you have Chinese miners that are going into Ethiopia, Africa. Why? Because it's cheaper electricity there, and there's a huge crackdown in China. China's hurting. Read the news. China is hurting majorly. I had a nice, good conversation with somebody, and they were like, listen, China, they produced the bulk of Bitcoin. And that was actually true back in 2019. It was actually true back in 2019. They have dwindled down to like 22%, and the US has bumped up to 38%. Why is that? Again, China's in trouble, and they've been cracking down on things like Bitcoin miners and their use of electricity. So I'm sitting back and I'm just going, that's pretty interesting, right? As I move forward. Then, if you know me, you know that I really do like Shiba Inu. They don't pay me. I'm not involved with them or anything like that. I just like the story of Shiba Inu, right? Not created as anything serious, grows up, gets serious, creates a whole ecosystem, right? I heard a YouTuber that I actually like to listen to every now and then, still to this day, still calling Shiba Inu a freaking meme coin. And I just want to say, have you been paying attention? You're not paying attention. Shiba Inu is far beyond a meme coin. Far beyond a meme coin. Right now, they've got Shibarium going on. Everything that's involved, all of the digital assets that are involved in Shibarium are now being tracked by CoinGecko. That is huge. That's huge. Just saying. Now, that's not all that they have going. I'm looking at my notes. They just signed a deal with K9 Finance to introduce liquid staking. Just at what point do people start to wake up and realize? And he was talking about, how Bonk is going to do better and how all these other meme coins are going to do better. I'm not putting those memes down, but Shiba Inu is not a meme anymore. It ceased being a meme over a year ago. And I'm still like, yeah, I when I do my DCA, yeah, Shiba Inu gets their little bit. That's right. Shiba Inu gets their little bit. The same way that I keep putting into Bitcoin Cash. Why? Because it does go up. It does go up. You have people that are not interested in other coins. You have people that are not interested in Bitcoin Cash just because of that whole Bitcoin debacle. Cool, I get it. Not a problem. I feel you. But go look at the charts and go look to see how well BCH is doing. Matter of fact, I want to go take a look at it. So when I go back, give me a moment. BCH is not doing so poorly. Wow. Over the past 7 days, it's been up 19.64%. Over the past 7 days, it has outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum. Over the past 7 days, just saying. Year to date, it has not done all that well. It's down over 6%. But in the past 7 days, it's outperformed. The past 7 days, you could have earned almost 20%. Again, do the math. Do your own research. Figure out what you want to do, what you feel comfortable with. I pay attention to trade volume. Like that tells me, is it being used? That's what trade volume tells me. Is it being used? Then I analyze that trade volume and say, well, how much of this is, how much of this are BS transactions? I told you about Jupiter, and I'm like, yeah, they had that huge airdrop, and everybody was like, oh, Jupiter. Yeah, a whole lot of BS transactions just flipping between Solana and Jupiter. Why? Because they wanted some coin. I'm not mad at you. You just wanted some coin. But that tells me that Jupiter for me is not something that's ready for me to invest in. Because at what point do the fake transactions stop? They have a plan for 2024, 2025, and 2026. So do I have to wait until 2026 for all that to stop and become real? Do I figure out a plan on, well, they're having another airdrop. Am I going to see for 2020? So they're done with 2024 and 2025. Am I going to see another upswing when they say, oh, another airdrop is coming. Am I going to see the FOMO? I might just take a chance and bet on that FOMO at that time. When they start talking about, or when that date nears, maybe a little bit before, right? To get in on the event, take advantage of the upswing, and then sell just before. Why? Because it'll take a dip after that. When you don't get any more free cash, it'll take a dip after that. So how long does that remain in place? Then you have the NBA and Mark Cuban possibly facing a $4.2 billion lawsuit. Why? Because they were both companies, both entities were talking about Voyager. So that's a strong possibility. And you could go do research on Voyager. We don't have to revisit that, but defunct, just saying. So we can pay attention to that. Because that could possibly bring bad press. So again, looking at things that happened over the past week that can affect my thinking going forward as I look at new news. Right? You have Binance, who had an issue with they had a list of coins that they were going to delist, and that list was leaked. Monero was on that list. Monero took a 25% hit, rebounded pretty decently, but it took a hit preceding the actual delisting because it was leaked. They're offering a $5 million bounty on that to their employees. If you find somebody that's blah, 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 you could get $5 million. Woof. So that's going to affect how they hire and how they maintain their staff, all that other good stuff. That's something to pay attention to. You want to hear some really cool news? Ethereum name service partnering with GoDaddy to make it easier for people to take advantage of Ethereum name services so that they can get paid via Web 2. Flip from Web 2, easily pay on Web 3. So those of you that are asking about what's going on in Web 3, that right there, huge news. something to pay attention to. Then you have Solana Labs coming out with GameShift. Basically, they're saying if you're developing on Solana, you automatically have access to a pre-built NFT marketplace. Boom, have at it. That's kind of cool. They're again saying we can be a part of that connective tissue. We're not Ethereum, we're not Polygon, we are Solana. Not mad at that. Again, I'm one of those people that don't believe a single coin is going to be, the end all. I think it's going to be a lot of different coins. But that little investment right there in GameShift, that little addition is going to make it easier for companies that are building out games to also have their NFT marketplaces. That's bigger than big. Last bit of news that I want to cover today, and then, I got to get going because, I know you guys don't want to listen to me as much as, get ready for all the football festivities today. It is New York State raising the amount of money that they believe people were cheated out of between the Earn program offered by Gemini, which involved Genesis, now defunct, and involved their parent company, Genesis's parent company, Digital Currency Group, DCG. $3 billion with a B. That is something I'm paying attention to. The problem for DCG is that they need cash. You already saw this firm Bullish purchase CoinDesk from them because it was a pearl. It was a pearl. I would have purchased them too. CoinDesk is no joke. I love CoinDesk. Anywho, when you're looking at this, you say to yourself, okay, so what else does DCG have money in where companies might be able to come in and look at DCG and go, hey, we'll buy that from you. I think that you're going to continue to see DCG decline, and you're going to continue to see companies knock on their door, or even DCG say, hey, we're willing to part with. To me, that's not even a possibility. To me, that's an inevitability. And believe me, DCG has their hooks in a lot of companies, a lot. But they've got problems in how they were doing business with regard to that Genesis Earn program, or that Gemini Earn program backed or provided by Genesis. That has not gone away yet. So it's a very big deal. And yes, they still have a lot of holdings in Grayscale. So think about that one. DCG owns a huge portion of Grayscale. And that makes me stop and wonder, just what are you going to do? I don't think they're going to get rid of that big piece. It would take a hella lot of money. Hella. And there are a few organizations on the planet that can actually afford to do something like that have that ready to go kind of money. But that is a strong possibility. You have a strong possibility, and it doesn't have to be one. It can be, we'll buy some, we'll buy some, we'll buy some. That's really what could happen. So we need to pay attention to what's going on over the past week to help us look forward to what's coming in the next week. So you still have earnings that are coming out next week from the stock perspective. You have all of these things that I'm telling you about now that are going on. Now, if I'm looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin right now is trading at 48,312. That means that during this time period, Bitcoin has gone up. And remember what I said, I need Bitcoin to maintain above 44,741. That's right. I said $44,741. We have to maintain that space above before we can hit that 50. 50 is the next problem, right? Break through that, and maybe you're at 52, 53 before you keep going up. And I think at that point, you're going to start to see a parabolic rise. I really do. And the reason why, again, we're coming up on the halving event. And everybody's wondering, well, what's going to go on with Bitcoin? Everybody's tripping when somebody said, oh, Bitcoin could hit $1 million. That's very simple math. there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going to be used the way other coins are going to be used. It's going to be used as a store of value. It's going to be leveraged, not sold. In my humble opinion, you're going to be able to leverage Bitcoin, not sell it. Companies already do that, but I think you're going to see that on a larger scale. So pay attention. For me, yeah, I'm grabbing up as much Bitcoin as I can. Just because of that point. Just because of that point. Then I'm looking at other coins in terms of what's their utility, what's their use, right? So this week, I'm expecting a bit more FOMO to happen. I expect FOMO to happen, shoot up. Profit taking to happen. Because who's going to FOMO in? Everybody that thinks they're missing out, right? So not really us that are already invested. So I think you're going to see an uptick. And you'll see some of us, people that are, have those wallets that they trade in, take a profit. That'll see it go down. So we'll take our profit. It'll go down. And then somebody like me is going to go buy back in. And then just wash, rinse, repeat. I know it sounds simple, but yeah, it's pretty much that simple. So that's what I'm looking at. That's my Sunday roundup. So anyway, if you like what I'm doing, please go over to growmybag.tv, drop me a note, sign up, drop me a note, let me know. And if you have commentary, again, go there, sign up, drop me a note, drop a note to the community, because that's what we're really building over there. And it's not just about crypto. Look at all the crypto articles that are there. Look at all the videos that we have there. Look at all the articles that we have about stocks that are there. We've got a lot going on, and we've got even more coming. Even more coming. So if you got suggestions, let me know. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much to those that have already been giving out, little tidbits. Peter, I'm calling you out. Why? Because you almost every day you're dropping me a note that makes me get air in my sails, get wind in my sails, and I love it. Thank you. A lot of people do that, but he does it on a daily basis. And he doesn't just do it for the sake of doing it. He watches the videos and then calls out points. Love that. There are a lot of people that are doing that now, and I see that, and it just says we're on the right track. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you have a good one.